Hey family, hey! So, this is my first time doing something like this, but I'm excited. Okay, so you guys know I've been saying, what am I going to do with all these jalapenos? So, I'm going to try something. I was looking at Acres Homestead on YouTube. I love watching her because she does a lot of the cooking with like the stuff that she brings from her garden. And she made cowboy candy. Now, I watched Gina versus Gina, and Gina actually gave a whole video on how to make cowboy candy. So I figured, because one, I'm gonna try it, but I didn't want a whole lot just in case I don't like it or my family doesn't like it. So I didn't want to make a whole bunch of stuff and no one likes it. And even though it's fun, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. But I definitely want to do stuff that's going to make it to where we can eat it. I mean, that's the whole point. So I'm trying it. I am remixing a little bit. Not that I'm remixing. I'm cutting all the measurements back because I'm not making a large batch. I actually wrote it down on what I'm going to do. It's only 1 pound. So this was full. I measured out 1 pound on my scale right here. So literally I was in the midst and I was like, let me go ahead and record this. I mean, I think that you become good at something from your mistakes sometimes. So I got 1 pound. I'm gonna do 3/4 of a cup of the apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna do a 1/2 cup of sugar, and some of the stuff I've already measured out, like I prepped, so I don't overdo anything. This is the salt, and it's the pink. The pink Himalayan salt. So I use this. I got the sugar, and then I have my apple cider that I was gonna pour in this cup and see if we can make the brine from there. Then I'll add the jalapenos, mix it in, and see how we do. I do have, in this right here, can you guys see? Okay, and here I have my jars sanitizing. It's on a very, very low at this point because I had it a little higher just to make sure everything was clean. And then I just set it in there because one of the things that I've learned, they say, if you're doing hot canning or anything like that, make sure that the jars are also warm. So what I'm gonna do is, once I get everything in my head that the way I want to do it, then I'm gonna take those out, put it on the towel that's right there, and then jar up because I don't know if this is gonna be, so I have a couple of different size jars. Let me see if I can show you. So, and this is hot, so I'm being very, very mindful. I'm thinking that, let me see if I can put this on here. This size jar may be enough for all of this, but I have like 2 or 3 of these. These are like my olive jars. And then I have smaller regular mason jars. So I'm thinking if I can fill up 2 of those, that'll be good. Then I have the smaller ones because I'm gonna try to also make I'll do another video where I'll try to do pickling jalapenos with the rest of these. Now I have more frozen and I have a lot more out in the yard, so I can also pull peppers from outside just to try to do the pickling. But again, I'll probably only try to do a small batch to see if that's what I like. I'm also want to try to make some hot sauce because I have so many cayenne, Tabasco. I seen one with like a Texas Pete hot sauce. So I want to try that one too. And they're not complicated. So that's what I want to try. So what I'm going to start doing now, And I'm gonna like do sets where I'm gonna start trying to do it, then come back on and show you where I'm at, so on and so forth. So what I'm about to do now, because this is my first time, I have to focus. I'm gonna just start with doing the apple cider vinegar, and they said bring that to a small boil, then add in the sugar and the salt. Once that come up to a small boil, then add the jalapeños. Let that come to a rolling boil. Then take out the jalapeños. Well, let it calm down. Take out the jalapeños. Then allow that juice to, I guess, boil a little bit. And what that does is make the sugar content, I guess, get a little thicker. And then they put that juice inside of the jars at that time. So we're going to do it in steps. And I'll bring you back every time to show you, okay, this is what we did. This is what I did next. So right now, I'm literally going to do the 3/4 cup, which I'll be honest with you, I got a big old pot right here. And I just don't feel like I may need that size pot. So I may change this pot out because I don't want to make way too much. This might be better. I think I'll use this size pot because I think this will be better. Because again, I don't feel like I have that many jalapenos. I could be wrong. Again, it's learning. So I'm going to go ahead and do, they said 3/4 apple cider vinegar. So I'm just going to mix everything in right now, except for the jalapenos. I think I'll do 3/4. Let me turn it on. So they said 3/4 of the vinegar, what I did. They said the sugar and then the salt, and let that basically come to where it's warm enough to start making the sugar, you know, melt. Once I stir that up, then I'll put the jalapenos in, let that come to a boil, then take the jalapenos out. Come on, y'all, we're gonna get it together. I'm about to put the salt and the sugar in next, and then let that come to a boil. Just remember, I already measured out this stuff, so we're gonna just see what it does. We either gonna love it, hate it, like it. We don't know. Okay, I'm gonna let that boil for a little bit. Let all the sugar and everything maybe melt good enough, and then I'll come back. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so now the vinegar, the salt, and the sugar now is more liquefied. So I'm going to go ahead and add in these jalapenos. When I add in the jalapenos, I'm gonna raise the temperature a little bit just so it can come to a rolling boil. And then I'm gonna let that, do that for maybe 5 minutes. I believe she said 5 minutes. Then I'm gonna take them out and put them in the jars. As you can see, I started taking out the jars from the pot, so I could then go ahead and, once they're ready, I'm not gonna can them right away because I want to see what else I gotta do. I think the jalapeno, what are they called? It's like with a vinegar type thing. I think I want to do that also so I can more than one thing, because again, this is just 1 pound. If we can get more stuff, I don't want to feel like I wasted all my time with the water and everything and don't can up enough stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in now, and let me calm it down. Hopefully it's not Okay, so it does seem a little tight, like I could have used a bigger pot or maybe added more apple cider vinegar. But from what I understand, um, it actually, as they cook down, it softens up and then, it gets more in there. So I'm just gonna stir this to try to make sure all the jalapenos get the sugar and everything. Okay, so I'm gonna stir that to make sure everything gets saturated with the sugar and everything. Then I'm gonna take it out and ladle it, which is pretty much take it out and put it into the jars. Then we're gonna continue to boil the juice of it, and then once we boil the juice to make the sugar content a little thicker, then we'll put the juice into the jars with it. So I'll let you know what happens in a second. Okay, now everything has come to a boil, and what I'm gonna do is I have my little jar with the cover so it can go straight in, and I have my ladle. So I'm just going to, this side is not hot, so what I'm gonna do is, because we still wanna be safe just as well, I think I'm gonna try to do it right here, where I take the jalapenos out, drain as much of the juice off as I can, and then try to fill this jar. I may only need this one jar. I don't know. I did turn down the fire or the eye, so it's not boiling still at a really, really hot temp. And again, I'm just trying to make sure that I leave as much juice in here so it can cook up some more. Yeah, I think the olive jar that I saved, I think this is gonna be enough for just this one jar. Which is good because I'm not gonna have a whole lot of something if they don't like it. And if they do like it, I have more jalapenos in the freezer, so I can always make more. I'm literally trying to push it down so all of it can get in. Okay. This is one jar, and it's filled up pretty good. So I'm gonna fill it up all the way up when it's time, but so far it looks like we only have one jar. Like I said, I am okay with that. So I'm about to now turn this fire up so it can thicken the thicken the brine. So once that brine thickens up, it's gonna come to another boil. They told me what from watching, that's gonna come to a boiling roll. When that comes to a boiling roll, then we're gonna let it cool down just a little bit so we can add the liquid into the jar, and then it's ready pretty much for canning. So we'll go from there. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, trying to be safe, I'm gonna pour the liquid into here, into the jar. Well, hold on, because the mouth of my jar thing that I normally ladle, the jar is actually the mouth part is actually bigger than the so okay, looking for one of these so I can just probably do it this way and it's not as bad. Now this is still fairly hot, so I'm gonna take my time. Hopefully I don't make too much of a mess. Okay. So I still have some liquid left, which I think that's fine. I'll just discard that. But I do have just a couple jalapeños in here still that I want. And I can get a little more of this juice. There we go. Now on my pot, I did turn it, on the water bathing pot, I did turn it down really, really low. I am about to now trying to make sure none of the sticky get onto, what you did, get onto the jar. And what I was told is, you just take a little vinegar and wipe the jar down. So, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm also trying something different because normally, that's hot, y'all. It is hot, so I'm being very, very careful. Normally, we use these mason jars with the lids, but I'm using the actual lid that came with the thing because I honestly, when I used it last time, it did just fine. Again, I'm not mad because if it doesn't work, I got more jalapenos. But I'm also learning what I can and cannot use, so I don't have to keep going out buying all these things to do this. So it's the regular lid that come with it, and it's the same way that that they do it when they make them. So why not try it? So I'm not putting it like really, really tight, just like we do the regular mason jars. I'm just putting it what they call fingertip tight, and then I'm dropping it in the water, let it come to a boil, probably about 5-10 minutes, and then that's it. Then I'm gonna try the other jalapeno thing, but I gotta go find a good video so I can watch it, make sure I get it, I understand, and then I'll let you know how I do. Okay, so I found something else to do. So we're gonna do pickling jalapenos, except for this time, we're not gonna need the bath canning because we're gonna do it to where I can basically do it, leave it out for a little bit, let it cool, and put it in the fridge and use right away. Which, let me say this, you can use any of them right away. But for me, I want to see how the canning bath thing goes just as well, so I can know, again, if they like it, how I could go ahead and preserve more. So this one I'm doing pickling, no canning, jalapenos. It is it looks like you pretty much just make a brine like regular pickles. You make a brine for it, and that's calling for 1 teaspoon of sugar, a half teaspoon of salt, which I went ahead and put both of those already in there, mixed those. I actually think I probably put a little too much salt in that one now that I'm looking at it. A fourth of vinegar, and I put that in a bowl, measured it out, and then a fourth of water. The vinegar on this one calls for white vinegar. The one for the other jalapenos called for the apple cider vinegar. So we're gonna see how that does. So all this is, I'm gonna put this in the pot, have it do the same thing, make sure the salt and sugar and everything mix really well. Then I just add the jalapenos in it, let it sit, boil, and then put it in the jars, and that's it. So, heck, let's get it going. This is the water. Let me turn on my thing. This is the vinegar. And this is the sugar and the salt. And again, it's the regular sugar, but it's always this salt. It's not the one with the girl with the umbrella, the iodine, I guess. So this finally came to a boil. I'm gonna let that boil for just a little longer, maybe about a minute or so, because it's only one jar in there. So I'm just gonna let that do it for a little bit. I'm gonna turn it off, let it cool down, take it out, set it on the side of the counter, and then leave it alone for a little bit. And for this one, we're just gonna let them boil. For this one right now, which is the pickling, we're just letting the brine do what it does. Then we're gonna go ahead and can up the jalapenos. And this is what was left. This is what was left of the jalapenos. Now, I do have more jalapenos, but they're frozen and there's plenty on the plants outside still. So again, if this does well, we can make more. So hubby is the biggest spicy eater. I like spice, but I like spice with flavor. That's gonna be when I try the I'm gonna trying to make hot sauce. Not today. But I'm gonna try to do a hot sauce. And when I do the hot sauce, I think that's gonna be yummy. And I seen two videos that I think I want to try, because one is like a hot sauce and then one is like a Texas Pete for like wings. I've turned this one off. I turned it off because it's boiling. And a rolling boil at that. So it's doing a rolling boil. So I turned it off. I'm gonna let it calm down and take that one jar out. My only fear is I don't want it to get too hot and it bursts the jar. So this one, it doesn't smell as strong vinegar-wise as the apple cider vinegar. But I'm excited to try these on like some nachos. You know, I love me some football. So I wanted to do like, when we do like nachos and stuff like that, salsas, different things, I want to try the pickling jalapenos and see how good that was going to be. So literally, we're just waiting this out. Once this is done, I'm going to add the jalapenos, which this should be almost done, or should I say come to a boil really soon. And then I'm just gonna add it on in, okay? All right, we are adding the jalapenos to the water, or to the brine. So we added the jalapenos to the brine. I'm gonna let that boil. Now I did see a couple of different videos. One video, they just made the brine, they put the jalapenos in a jar by itself. And then after they made the brine, they just poured the brine in it. So that might be a little easier. But I don't know, I felt like I wanted to cook them up a little bit. And then, because they're gonna cook in the brine anyway, because the brine is so hot. But I figured, let's see what it does. So that's gonna cook up. I did pull out the jalapeno right here. It's still really, really hot, so I'm letting that cool down. It is harder when you're not canning a lot of things at one time, because the shelf rack that you put it in, they wind up tipping over. So that's something I've learned, that maybe if I'm gonna only do one, maybe find a different size pot maybe. I've seen people also do it where they put like a rag or a towel, a thick towel inside of it to, because the thing about the rack is you just don't want anything touching the bottom of the pot. So as it gets hot, it will crack, right? So I'm thinking maybe next time I'll try just doing a rag or something in the bottom if I'm not doing as many, because it did wind up falling over and I had to try to get it out without burning myself and without cracking it, because as you're trying to grab it, you don't want to put too much pressure on it trying to get it out. So I did have to use a couple of the different tools to maneuver it to where I was able to get a hold of it and then pull it out. So it's okay so far. We're gonna see how it cans. What I do think is that the way you can tell if it canned really well is when you go to open it, you hear that boop. You know, like when you open something from a regular grocery store, you hear that pop. That's when you know it's good, like it did a good canning. So what I'm thinking about what can I make. I've heard this goes good with like crackers and cream cheese and things like that. So again, it seems like it'll be a really, really good appetizer. So I'm trying to think about what I can make to use it because I'm gonna want to use it right away to taste it. Um, but I'm trying to think. Sunday, tomorrow is Super Bowl. It's football day for us, so I'm trying to think like what can I use because you can also put it on like pickles. I mean not pickles, pizza, things like that. So I'm thinking, So I'm thinking about that, but we'll see. These are boiling up now. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's it. That's all that these needed to do. So I'm going to turn the fire down. I'm going to turn the fire off. And I think I want to put that, I'm going to use these little jars because again, it wasn't that much. So I'm going to see if I can fill up maybe one of these jars. Maybe one, if it needs more, another one of these, and see if that'll be good. And again, all it said was once we put it in here, put the lid on and let it sit and we'll be done. So let's get to it. They said push the peppers down, so no air holes or nothing. I'm trying to get as less juice at first and more peppers. We're probably gonna need another jar, which is okay, because I have more. Wait, I may not. Hold up. Wait. This packing it in might help. I'm trying to pack it in a little more because there's not a whole lot in there, but it's not a lot either. And I don't want to have to use a whole nother jar. Just want to make sure I didn't leave any mess around. Again, the cool thing is we're not pickling, we're not canning these. It's a good spice smell coming off of them. But I want to make sure it still seals well, even in the fridge. So there go two. It's not a lot in here. So I really don't want to use another jar. They're about the same size. But I don't want to waste it either. So This could be our taste jar. Like, this would be like what we first tasted, the little jar. I mean, I could cut up some more jalapenos just to add to this because it wasn't too much work on this one. Okay. Okay. So that was it for today. Since I only got a little bit in this jar, that was what was left. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cut up a couple more peppers and add it on into this. Ooh, that was hot. And add it onto that to just make that a full jar. And that'll be it for today. That is enough of my playtime with trying something new. So please like, subscribe, and share. If you want more videos like this, let me know. We can all try something new. We can all expand our cooking area. When it comes to different things to try. Like I said, I want to try jalapenos. I'm gonna try the jalapenos, but then I want to try the hot sauce. I've done jalapeno poppers already. And we'll just see what else we can make together. But until next time, bye.